Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me. I've got former Anthrax singer John Bush joining. Thanks so much for being here.
What's up, Brendan? How are you, bud?
I'm great, man. You've got a big announcement here that you have lined up three shows that you're going to do where you're going to perform all Anthrax material from the four albums when you were in the band. You got LA, California on December 13th, St. Charles, Illinois on December 18th, and New York City on December 20th, a show that I can actually hit up. So I'm excited about that.
You must.
Yeah, yeah. So, how did this come about? I mean, I know you've talked about it. I've heard you talk about it in interviews for years, but now you're finally doing it. It's great.
Well, that's pretty much it. I mean, I've talked enough about it, and at some point, I gotta go for it. So that was the philosophy. There was some free time in December. Armored Saints doing some shows in October with Michael Schenker,
Right?
and doing the Headbangers Boat with Category 7, the other album and project that I was part of in the last year.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so it was like December seemed like it was
Mhm.
had some free time. It's kind
Right?
of a it's kind of a rough month because people are thinking about the holidays and winding up the year and not thinking so much about going to shows. But my agent
Mhm.
talked to a couple promoters and people were interested and they sounded enthusiastic. So we figured we could do it. So the December 20th show is getting close to Christmas, but
Yeah.
I think we'll be fine. So I'm
I think it,
excited about this. Yeah,
I think it lines up well for people who want to get a gift for their metalhead loving fan, right? You can get them
I like that.
to one of these shows. But I was going to say, at least from somebody who works a full-time job, and I travel, I visit my sister, she's in Texas. We always look for shows when we're together. And so I'm on vacation at that time because it is
Okay.
the holiday season. I don't know. I think you're not going to have a problem. I think there's going to be plenty of people excited to see a show at that time.
Yeah, it's New York City on the 20th, so people come to the city obviously to go see the tree and skate at Rockefeller Plaza
Right?
and it's New York, so people come into town. Yeah, people leave too, and I get that. It's a little risky, but this is the time that we had it, and I'm excited to do it. It's long overdue because I've been saying it for too long, and it's like, ah, shut up already, man. You always talk about that, but now I'm finally going to do it, so I'm excited. I've been working on the tunes and kind of trying to figure out what I'm going to play, and there's a lot of great songs, so it's not easy, but I'm real excited.
And is this just going to focus on the four albums, or will you throw any other Anthrax material in there?
No, it's going to be the four records that I made with the band between 93 and 2003 with Sound and White Noise, Stomp 442, Volume 8. And yeah, you
That
got
goes
to get quick there.
just like
And
this.
we'll cover you all. Thanks
There
a
we
lot.
go.
Man, you're awesome. Yeah, so it's exciting. There's a
Yeah, no,
lot of
that's great.
songs. Yeah.
What about any possibility for doing some shows in 2026 if this goes well?
Well, it's going to be a busy year because Armored Saint actually has a record coming out sometime in March, April, re-release, the first album since 2020 when the COVID situation happened. So that kind of pushed, thanks very much, Punch in the Sky. It's a great record.
Isn't it?
They kind of pushed us back a little bit with touring, but we
Mhm.
actually did a lot of touring within the last couple of years with Wasp and Queensryche, and
Yeah.
so we made up for it. But we're excited about this new record. Sounds killer. There's some great material. It sounds very Saint, but kind of forward thinking at the same time, and real proud of the songwriting ability on it. So. We're going to definitely do a lot of shows in conjunction with that. But if I could squeeze some of this in somehow, some way with it working, and I don't know, we'll see.
Right.
It's going to be all challenging. It's there's a lot on my plate. I better
Oh,
be ready.
yeah. Yeah, right. And so, John, I know you're doing some shows out with Michael Schenker with Armored Saint, and I heard you're going to be doing a mini set from Delirious Nomad celebrating its 40th anniversary.
Yeah, we're real excited about that. Delirious is 40 years old now this year. 1985 is when it came out, which is
Can you
terrifying.
believe that?
What can you do? Father Time marches on. But
Right.
yeah, it's cool. It's a great record. It's one of those records that I think as time goes on, more and more people feel like that's one of their favorite albums of ours. And it was a record that at the time probably made a lot of record company people scratch their head and go, what is this? This is not what March of the Saint was. This is very different. And Probably a little too different at the time in retrospect, but the songs hold up. There's some really great tunes there, ones that are going to be fun to play live, ones we haven't played, if not ever,
Hmm.
certainly not in years. So we've been working on that. I'm trying to remember some lyrics in conjunction with those songs, although they're pretty good. They're pretty there. So it's going to be fun, and I'm going to do like a couple tunes, and then we'll do a little micro set, and we'll finish it off with a couple hits, and it's gonna be fun. And touring with Shanker, he's legendary,
Yeah.
incredible guitar player, and one of our big influences through the years. And UFO is one of my favorite bands of all time, going back to the Lights Out, Obsession records. That was like later on, actually,
Yeah.
after Happy Madden and Phenomenon, but. Yeah, it's a great band, incredible songs, and probably underrated in my opinion. So.
Yeah, very much so. But yeah, you're right about this. I mean, this was out of print for such a long time, and it wasn't until at least Rock Candy Records did the reissue on it that I could get a copy of it. But I've been hearing from a lot of people through my music channel how much they like that album. Whereas I know back in the day, it was sort of the oddity that was in there. Um, but I think it's
Yeah,
a great album.
yeah. I mean, March of the Saint was we kind of started the flow of Armored Saint being exposed to the rock and roll heavy metal world, and
Yeah.
then we took a immediate left turn with Delirious. Although the funny thing is that there were some old songs that were on Delirious, so we combined them with old songs and the new material. Like "You're Never Alone" was one of our first songs that we ever wrote, and "The Laugh" was like one of our first demos that we ever did. So. Um, that coupled with songs like Aftermath and For the Sake of Heaviness, which actually that song was kind of an older one too. In the Hole, that was a more recent one at the time, of course, in
Right.
1985. Um, Long Before I Die, Nervous Man. These are some really cool tunes that they just kind of showed that at that point we were still willing to take chances. We weren't just going to say we're going to write every song as like an anthem. Don't get me wrong, I love March of the Saint, Madhouse, and Can You Deliver? Of course, those are classic Armored Saint songs. But even then, we were kind of itching to kind of branch out and do something different, like Over the Edge, and like I said, Aftermath, and In the Hole. And so we were taking chances, and I really commend us for doing that at the time. And I think that's why the record is in the heavy metal world is looked at as a really cool gem.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right with that. Something that in retrospect has absolutely, grown in stature over time. So that's a cool thing.
Awesome.
I want to jump back over to Anthrax. In terms of these shows that you're doing, any chance you're going to record one of these shows, put it out?
Yeah, I don't know. It's something that somebody else mentioned to me, and to tell you the truth, hadn't thought about it yet. Uh, we'll see. Obviously, for now, there's only the three shows, so a lot of
Right.
people are saying, "Well, I'm not going to get a chance to see this. I'd like to see the film of it." I mean, everything is. Let's face it, everybody's filming everything anyways all the time. Of course,
Yeah.
it's not as professionally done, although some people's iPhones and it's they look amazing. So. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought about it quite yet as far as doing a proper filming and recording of it. It's not on my mind yet. Maybe I just kind of want to get a couple a couple shows
Right.
out from under me a little bit, and then we'll see. I'm sure I'm going to do more. I just don't know what yet and when.
All right. Well, we'll plant the seed for now. It'll be there. You get some shows under your belt. You feel better about it, and then who knows? Maybe a live show will happen. A recording.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great idea, and I'm sure it
And
will.
and your backup band is going to be Category 7, right? For doing these
It
Anthrax
is.
shows.
Yeah, with the exception of Joey Vera playing bass because Jack Gibson had a schedule conflict. But yes, it made sense. We were kind of talking one day about it, discussing like playing some songs with some of the Anthrax songs that I've done to kind of expand a set for Category 7 because we only have the one record, of course. So sometimes when you're playing a headline show, you need material. Um, and then all of a sudden it's kind of dawned on me like, well, wait a minute here. This is something that could be even bigger than that. So I proposed the idea to the guys, and like I said, if I was starting a band from scratch to go out and play these albums from Anthrax that I made, I would use those guys because they're just incredible players. And Jason Bittner played in Anthrax for a brief time, filling in for Charlie at one point. He's
Right,
certainly more than capable as a drummer. Although playing Charlie stuff's not easy, of course, as we all know. But I
right,
think Jason will do amazing. And Phil Demmel and Mike Orlando are incredible guitar players. So I have the utmost faith in them that they'll make it sound amazing. So it kind of just made the most sense, really, to do it. We're going to do a little brief set of C7, and then we'll come back out and play these Anthrax tunes. It's gonna be a lot of work. It's a little daunting, but I'm prepping myself mentally and physically for it, and
right.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's what I heard. You're essentially opening for yourself, and I was like, wow, man, double duty.
I know. Well, there's not two full headline sets because that's would be insanity. But
Right, right.
I look at my peers, people like Halford and
Mhm.
many others who are going out and playing 20 songs a night. So I figured I got to do it, something I
Yeah.
can do. It's 3 shows, I can do it. So it'll be challenging, but it'll be fun at the same time. So yeah, it's a little unusual kind of playing and then coming back, but I think it'll be kind of different as well. So maybe that'll be alluring.
Right. Well, I mean, I know as a fan of your music, getting to see you perform twice in one night, I mean, I think that's fantastic, and that doesn't happen a lot. So it'll be extra special for all the John Bush fans out there, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm sticking my neck out there and going for it.
Good for you, man. So the last time you were in Anthrax, it was kind of a brief time in 2000, I think 8 to 2010. Came back, you did some live shows and stuff. Are you able
Correct.
to talk about why you chose not to stay with the band at that time?
I don't think it was ever something permanent at that time. I think
Yeah.
they had some dates that they had booked, and
Mhm.
I think they had, at that time, if I'm not mistaken, it was the singer that they had for a brief period of time that was in the band that never panned out. But and so he was, I don't know, they parted ways. I don't know exactly the details, but they needed someone to come help play the Networth show, which was in London. I mean, outside of London, excuse me, in England. And there was several shows in Australia, the Soundwaves Festival at that time. And then I did the Loud Park show in Japan. So I think it was always the plan of coming in to kind of get those shows completed and
Yeah.
fulfilled. And there was really no talk about going forward from that point. So I don't really remember the details because
Yeah.
now we're talking like almost 15 years ago, which is, and
Yeah.
again, insane. But I do remember those were great shows. Playing Nebworth, where, London, Zeppelin's last show was pretty awesome. And there were big shows in Australia as well as in the Loud Park show in Tokyo was amazing. So, I have the memories of playing shows through the years when in my time with Anthrax was always awesome. We had so many amazing gigs and always cherish those memories.
Was that roughly the last time that you played that many Anthrax songs? I mean, I'm assuming you've played only in a few other of the major hits, with your other bands, but is that really like the last time you did full Anthrax material?
Yeah, that probably was probably Japan actually. And it was probably majority of older material, but I do remember playing Catharsis at that show, which is cool.
Mhm.
It's a great song, and I'm planning on playing that again with this upcoming run. So, yeah, it was probably the last time I sang like 10 Anthrax songs. So, realistically, yeah.
15 years on, man. That's a good anniversary too. Celebrate that.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're like I said, I'm really excited about it because a lot of these songs are for a lot of people, Anthrax was discovered in the 90s, let's face it, because
Yeah,
everybody knows the 80s, but
right.
a lot of people come of age in the 90s discovering music
Mhm.
and Anthrax was a part of that decade. So that was the decade I was part of and so were these records. So I think it's a nostalgic, let's face it,
Yeah,
because Sound of White Noise is over 30 years old. I mean, Stomp is 30 years old this year, which is crazy, but
it's crazy.
so is it? Yeah, it's really terrifying, but it's a nostalgic trip, which is always fun, and people
Right.
are yearning for that stuff. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, well, and Anthrax isn't out doing that stuff, so it's great that you're coming out to do it and, continue to shine a light on those great albums because they were fantastic albums at the time.
I
As
appreciate
you
that.
said, like myself, but a lot of people discovered Anthrax through that era. That's my era of
Right.
the band kind of
Yeah.
thing. So for you to come back and do it, I think is an extra special treat to all the fans.
I think so too, and
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Now in '99, you guys did Return of the Killer A's, and there's Ball of Confusion on here where both
Yeah,
you and Joey Belladonna sang.
correct.
How did that come about as both you guys? And was there ever
Well,
any talk of there being two lead singers for
there
Anthrax?
was. Well, there was a talk about doing a run, yeah, right in conjunction with that record. I think it was an idea of just putting out kind of a greatest hits to keep things going at that
Yeah,
time, in between maybe record label deals and stuff.
right.
And so then there was, I don't remember whose exact idea it was, but then we came up with the idea of having us both sing on a song. I'm a big Temptations old school soul fan. I mean, Armored Saint just put out a four top song within the last year, which is really cool. So that's yeah, that's right in my wheelhouse. I love all those old school singers and old school soul singers, should I say, and as some of my favorite music of all time. So that was easy for me to say I'm into it.
Right.
And I thought it was really cool that we did it together. I remember recording it, and it was real fun. And me and Joey actually get along pretty well when we're together. It's
Mhm.
never really any kind of awkwardness or strife. It's usually pretty mellow, even if we're just in the same room with one another. Um, but I was thinking about it, and we probably should have made a video or something for that because it would have been more productive, I think.
Right, right.
So it kind of came and went, unfortunately. But yeah, it was fun, and we were supposed to do a tour, and then there was some legalities I guess we couldn't iron out, so it never really happened. But we at that time we then when I was still in Anthrax, we just went back out and toured again on it. So um, then the idea came up again about maybe doing a joint tour, a singer tour,
Mhm.
and just couldn't make it work. So we tried, but we just couldn't make it happen.
Because I've always thought Anthrax would be one of those good bands to try that out. I don't know if you're familiar with the German band Halloween,
Oh
right?
yeah,
They've got
yeah,
their three singers, their three lead guitar players. So it's this huge lineup, no matter what area you like, it's there, right? And
right,
I just
right.
thought Anthrax would be prime for that if the band, everyone else decided to do it. But I guess
Yeah.
that's a pipe dream somewhere down the road could
Uh,
happen.
You have to get everyone on board and
Yeah,
but it's a great idea and I think
right.
Halloween is I really commend them for doing that. It's really cool. Obviously a lot of people put their egos aside for that and the fans really got a big treat for that. So that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So, out of the four albums that you made, what was your favorite one, your favorite time of making the album? Is there a particular one that stands out maybe more than anything else?
When it comes to records, I always kind of feel like, I usually feel pretty good about all the records I've made. I mean, of course, I have my own personal feelings about certain things that I don't reveal to people,
Mhm.
just because they don't really need to know. 'Cause I've done that before and go, well, that song I kind of don't like, and they're like, that's my favorite song, man. So I don't want to say that because I want to let
Right.
people enjoy what they love.
Sure.
Um, every record's a little different for
Hmm.
me. They're only a little child.
Hmm.
Uh, of course, Sound of White Noise was the
How can
first
you pick
one.
one when they're like your children?
Exactly. You don't want to, pick one child over the other. That would be
I hear you.
that's just bad parenting. Um, but I think Sound of White Noise is, of course, a record a lot of people can connect with mostly because it was the first one that I
Right.
made with the band. So I think maybe that was because it was all new at that time.
Mhm.
And it's certainly a very solid album. And it kind of changed a little bit of the sound of the band. Obviously, vocally, it was a big change. And it was the 90s and it came out in 93. So there was this whole new generation and a whole new decade. And so it was very exciting time at that moment. But I'm real fond of all of them. I think Volume A is a kind of under a record that's under the radar a little bit
Yeah.
and doesn't get enough accolades. We've Come For You All was a cool record because it kind of resurged the band a little bit, especially in Europe because it was on Nuclear Blast and they did a great job there. So they're all cool in their own right. And um, yeah, I think whatever you dig, I'm happy about it. I'm just trying to figure out what songs to play. People are
Yeah,
posting
right, right.
online, and I'm going, wow, a lot of people like that song, which is really surprising sometimes. So it's cool. I dig that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, we all hear things differently, and it's cool to see why somebody likes this one over here. I mean, as you mentioned, you say, well, maybe I don't like that one as much, but somebody else thinks it's the best song you did, right?
Yeah.
So, you never know with that stuff, but it's always fun to find that out and you know get a chance to potentially play those songs, make those people happy.
Right. For me, I know maybe what went into the writing of it and to
Mhm.
the process of recording it, and who knows, maybe there was a little bit of difficulty with that, and so
Yeah.
maybe I associate with that.
Right.
Once the records are done, it's done, and I kind of don't think twice about that kind of stuff. But I never want to say this record is better than that record. To me, they're all just different, and that's the way they should be. Because really, it doesn't really matter what I think. It's really what the public thinks. I'm at that point, I'm just one part of the public. So I let the public kind of make those decisions and kind of battle over it, which is always kind of comical and funny. But it's I mean I just want them to like them all. Actually, that's that's all I care about.
Well, I did always appreciate that the four records were somewhat different from one to another. So each one had their unique character,
Definitely.
standout elements within it. And that, I think, is what makes them stand up. They're not, none of them were clones of Sound of White Noise. That was a
No.
big album. It was a successful thing. It was a turning page, but you guys kept going out and doing something new and pushing the boundaries, which was always very cool.
Absolutely. And Anthrax does that. Anthrax as
Yeah.
a band, even before I was in the band, was always willing to take chances about doing things. I mean, they did I'm the Man,
Yeah.
and it was way ahead of everybody
Oh,
else. So,
absolutely.
and it was risky, because they were this metal band. A lot of people might have been like, what is this? But everyone loved it. But then they did bring the noise, and they were just always willing to take chances when I was in the band and when I was not in the band. So I really commend them for doing that, especially in the world of metal, where
Right.
sometimes I say this and I say it with the utmost positivity, but sometimes the metal community can be a little rigid. It's like, you got to stay within these boundaries. And if you go out too
Yeah.
far, exactly. And it's like, look, man, it's music, man. You got to take chances. As long
Yeah.
as you're not doing something where you truly feel it's kind of insincere or not really for the right motive behind it. If you believe in something, you should be able to do it, even if it's a little bit outside the box. And that's the way I see it. I certainly want to make music that way because I love all kinds of music. So I don't want to be pigeonholed too much. It's metal, it's hard rock. It's always going to be grounded in that. And it's not like I always make the joke. It's not like going to come out with like this, new school country slash trip hop coffee
Right,
house
right,
death metal record. You guys should know it and love it, right?
right, right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
I think if it's got John Bush's name on it, we know what to expect to a degree, at least on.
yeah. I'm
Um,
a bluesy hard rock heavy metal singer at heart, so
right.
that's gonna be the roots of it for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, and you guys took chances on Sound of White Noise with the song Black Lodge on there. I mean, they had never done a song that was like that. And yet
Yeah,
that connected with a lot of people. That was a very successful single off of that album, right? So you never
yeah,
know what's going to connect.
yeah. I love Black Lodge. It was killer. It was Angelo Badalamenti who did all the
Mhm.
instrumentation on it, and that was really outside the box at that time. Um, the Twin Peak movies and TV show, well, it was a TV show at that point, was really cool and very just strange and different for sure. So, and he did all the music to it. So it really kind of ushered in this kind of new way of thinking of things, at least for Anthrax. And then we made the weird video with Mark Pellin, I think Mark Pellington was his name, I believe. He did the
Yeah,
Jeremy video for Pearl Jam, and
right.
uh, it was weird. It was probably a little too weird for Anthrax at that time. I don't think we were hardly ever featured except for one quick photo of our faces, which is, in retrospect, probably a bad idea. And maybe Black Lodge wasn't meant to be the second video at that time. It would have been probably smarter to do like the third or fourth, I think. And again, this is, I'm being a Monday morning quarterback a little bit with this stuff, but
Right.
it doesn't really matter. And Jenna Elfman was in that video, who went on to be a pretty big star, and she was nothing at that point. She was very just early stages of an actress, so it was a trip. But yeah, it's a great song. It's really, really cool, and I plan on playing that live, and it's gonna be awesome.
Cool, man. So now back when you got the call to join Anthrax, was there any hesitation or what were your thoughts about replacing a singer in a band? Because you were coming
Um,
from your own band at that point.
I did, yeah. Yeah, it was tough. You know, Joey Belladonna's voice is extremely distinctive and yeah, unique sounding, and he was very associated with Anthrax. So I knew it was going to change because my voice is very different.
Right.
Once I got official approval of joining the band, I had to not look back. I had to just go
Right.
and be positive, and that was the mentality I had. I embraced all the old tunes and tried to sing them as best as I could in association with the way they were recorded. But you know, it's
Very
gonna
good.
always. Thank you very much. Greater two people, but it's always going to sound a little different, of course, because our voices are different. But I honored them. They were like my stepkids, if you
Right.
will, to the parenting
Right.
connection there. And I did everything in my power to be the best I could be in the band. So, um, again, I respect Joey because he's associated with Anthrax the most in the '80s, and that and wasn't easy to replace a singer, but you got to do it. What are you going to do? You can't go in there with any kind of hesitancy. You gotta go for it.
Right, yeah. And I think it was cool that you came in and you made those songs your own. You sang them in your own style. You didn't try to replicate Joey Belladonna or do anything like that. And for me, at least, that made all the difference. You're going to come in, make it your own, and do that. And then it's not just a clone at that point.
Yeah, I mean, our voices again are they sound very different. So there's no way that wasn't going to sound a little different. I'm probably a little more, it could be a little bit viewed as more aggressive, but now I have kind of raspier, obviously, but I still sang them as the way they were, the phrasing, everything. I
Sure.
didn't want to change things too much. I wanted to keep them as was because that's what people want to hear. So they know those songs. I mean, I feel that same way about the songs that I'm doing that I recorded. It's like they got to be right. They got to sound like those songs. So. My voice has changed. It's funny. It's like I was with Frankie Bello not too long ago, and he was saying, "How's it singing these songs?" I go, "It's a good challenge because I was 30 years younger."
Yeah,
So,
right, right.
um, but it's just about kind of going back, remembering, kind of using the things that I've learned as a singer through the years to help myself out, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Absolutely. Well, I think you're still sounding great on your new project, Category 7 here. Quickly, as we start to wrap things up here, how did this project come together?
Yeah, that was cool. It just kind of happened real naturally. Obviously, I know Phil from doing some stuff with Metal Legions.
Right.
He's a guy who's been around the business for a long time and extremely talented. And he had this idea with him and Mike Orlando were working on some tunes and Jason Pittner. And they said, "Would you be interested?" And I said, "Well, send me some stuff. I don't know until I hear it." And they did. And I was pretty blown away with a couple of songs that I heard. I was like, wow, this is really cool stuff and really heavy, but yet it sounds unique and just sounds kind of retro, but at the same time modern.
Hmm.
So the key ingredient was for me to write to it to see if I could add to it and make it
Yep.
better. And I started doing that, and lo and behold, we had a couple songs within maybe a couple months, and then we demoed them, and but we all were just like, wow, this is awesome. So we just kept working and working. And next thing we know, we had enough material for a record and it just made sense to make an album. Why not? We worked hard on all these songs. We went to Metal Blade Records, which is the record label I'm with Armored Saint, and they were interested. And so I was excited about making this record because I think it's great material.
Hmm.
There was some kind of errors along the way that were made in conjunction with some of the decisions that we made with touring and not necessarily in the marketing of it because we did make 5 videos for that record, which was really cool for a new band. And we are technically a new band, even though we're all veterans of the business. But I think the record's great. It's one of those records I think people will be able to look back on 10 years, 20 years from now and go, that was a great record. So what happened with it as far as the success level and people's awareness and those are the kind of things that I can't really control anyway. Believe me, I know of all my years in the business, like
Hmm.
once you make a record, you kind of have to just let it go
Put it
because
out there.
you
See what,
got to just go and hope for the best and
right.
just know you gave everything you got. And that's how I feel about that. So, it's always there. People can always go back and listen and take a look at those videos and it's going to get a little boost here by doing these shows. It made sense to kind of piggyback off one another. So for these 3 shows, it's going to be great and it's going to be fun. And Category 7 hasn't played in Chicago or outside Chicago, should I say,
Right.
Or New York. So it'll be cool to play those two places. The only one show we've ever done was in LA at the Whiskey, so that'll be a repeat performance in a way, but it's gonna be cool
Cool,
to
man.
be able to play New York. And Mike Orlando's from New York, so I'm sure he's really excited to play his hometown.
Absolutely. Well, no, and I'm definitely glad to see you guys are getting out and doing some shows, that this is more than like a side project kind of things. There's a lot of people these days go and, make an album and it's just coming together to do it, but it's not really collaborative. What you're just described to me made it sound like it's a very collaborative thing. It's a band thing. So I hope you guys choose to do more
Yeah.
follow-ups because it really is a good album.
I mean, it probably would be a good idea to make another record. I mean, it's not something I'm thinking about today
Right.
by any means, but then that would make it feel less than like it was just a project. And
Mhm.
I know a lot of people, they don't like that word. I hear it from lots of people. Like, don't say that word. And okay, all right. But
Don't call it a side
yeah,
project.
don't call it side project.
I don't think it's a negative term, but
I don't. It
yeah.
doesn't bother me, but yeah, it does bother some people actually.
Yeah, I know there are some fans that won't give it 100% their attention if they think it's not a full thing, right?
Right.
I don't know why. For me, if the people that are in the band, I like those people, then I'm going to follow them. It's just
Right.
more music for me to enjoy from my favorite artists. That's how I see it. And I
That's
saw the lineup for this and I said, oh my God, we got a killer super group here fronted by John Bush. Why would I not want to check,
yeah.
right?
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks, Brendan. I mean,
No
that makes sense to
problem.
me. Why not listen to it? Who knows what's going to come out of it? And maybe something big, maybe not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't take away from the material. The material was great.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, John, I thank you for your time today on this and certainly wish you the best on those three upcoming Anthrax shows that you're going to be, well, playing Anthrax music. Let's call it
Thank
that,
you.
right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And so again, LA, California, you're doing a show on December 13th. St. Charles, Illinois is on December 18th, and New York City on December 20th. And I'm going to pray and wish that you do some more shows later on when your schedule opens up, but get out there for all the other fans to be able to see it. So,
I appreciate that, brother. I hope come to the New York show and say hello to me. Make sure
will
that
do,
we get a
man.
chance to say hello to one another. And thanks for all the support. Really appreciate
Oh,
it.
absolutely. No problem. And again, thank you for being here. And everyone out there tuning in, you can't make it to the show, but definitely go check out Category 7. And with John Bush telling us he's got a new Armored Saint album on the way, keep an eye out for that. I know I certainly will be.
Awesome.
All right, everyone. Take care. Have a good one. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you, brother.